Hi everybody, this is Wolfie. Welcome to Hearthwalkers, the Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering podcast. This is your too long didn't listen. Say goodbye to your DCI numbers and excuses not to hit Legend because we have answers to both right here. Also, Legends of Runeterra just wants to keep coming out with stuff. So without further ado, let's start the show.
We have not started the show yet, right?
Oh, it's always starting.
Hello and welcome.
It's time to do bingo! Yes! Pull up a chair by the hearth.
Hearthwalkers, a Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone podcast.
Hey everybody, this is Wolfie coming to you for Hearthwalkers, the Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering podcast, episode 18. We're almost at 20, even though we took a lot of breaks. And we're not that consistent, but you know what? We're professionals here, so we got to keep the ball. We got to keep going. All right. Thankfully I'm still at work. I'm still working, so that's the main reason why these aren't as consistent as they could be, because I'm not at home all the time. But you know what? Maybe things can change, and maybe we're just gonna make a bunch of monies off of this podcast, right? Maybe not. Who knows? We're still gonna keep doing it regardless. So without further ado, we got a bunch of stuff today, and we're gonna try to condense it into like a nice little half-hour episode. So we're gonna start off with some Hearthstone news right now.
Venusaur with a question mark.
Get down! Welcome back!
Okay, and first off on the Hearthstone news train, we're going to talk about Liquid Ox here. Liquid Ox is a Hearthstone player for Team Liquid. He was brought up to my attention by another podcast called Legendary Mythics or Mythic Legendary. Oh man, I feel really bad forgetting their name right now. They were featured on Magic Arena's like featured streamer thing last week, and then I'm going to be featured next week. So I've been kind of keeping an eye on who gets featured now because I want to help support people. Mythic Legendaries podcast. Shout out. They also do Hearthstone and Magic, which is nice, but there's two of them. So I'd like to think that we're sort of on equal footing here with them. They brought up to my attention this gentleman, Ox, who's playing for Team Liquid. He started up a brand new account, and his goal was to hit Legend within a week. And he hit it in 4 days. It's insane. It kind of puts back into perspective that it's not just the cards. You need actual skill to be able to be top level at some of these games. After 4 days, he hit top 300 Legend, and he was only playing a Ogre Rogue deck, which right here for the video list is the deck guide, not the actual list. The list is like somewhere else. He had a couple of rules to go along with after he finished the like little campaign, like starter tutorial thing. So the rules were: you can't spend any money, you can't skip any ranks, you must run at least one copy of Boulder Fist Ogre in every deck, all games must be on stream, you can't unlock Demon Hunter ever, and you had to do 10 push-ups per loss. So we started the challenge Sunday the 19th of April with a short 4-hour stream, and ended on the day of writing this, Wednesday 22nd of April, placing Legend rank 292, which is insane. 4 days to do this. Lots of games, incredibly long games. He has the deck list code right here. All of these links I'll put in the description for the episode. Day 4, 200 push-ups later. having a star run, running out of Plat 5. His ending win rate was 78% win rate, 132 games won and 32 games lost from a fresh account. So that's insane. I would love to go over the deck at some point, not today because I haven't even played the deck, and I'm thinking I'm gonna and start climbing up some ranks, you know, get Dad Legend, something like that. But we got more stuff to talk about, and we don't have enough time to do it. So we're talking about not a lot of, there's stuff to go all around in Hearthstone, but it revolves around, it's not news, it's like meta updates and deck lists and pro standings and stuff like that. That's what we're talking about. We don't have enough time right now to go into the decks, and I also haven't played any Hearthstone like at all last week because busy.
He pulled the blanket back over him.
He's still sleepy? Oh, baby boy. Alright, so week 2, he's up. Grandmasters 2020 week 2 finished up. Our finals were Lnguagehackr versus Gavin. Gavin winning 3-1. Lnguagehackr was running Demon Hunter, Priest, Spell Druid, and a Pirate Warrior. His Pirate Warrior was banned, while Gavin had Highlander Rougue, Demon Hunter, Pirate Warrior, and his Zoolock was banned. And as you see, we only went to 4 games. Gavin winning the first game with his Highlander Rougue, and then again with his against Lnguagehackr's Demon Hunter, and then Lnguagehackr finally being able to get a game in with the Druid, and then Gavin switching out for his Warrior and beating out the Spell Druid. This Spell Druid list is super interesting, alright, and this Pirate Warrior list is freaking brutal. The Zoolock, I'm not a fan of Zoolock. I actually kind of hate Zoolock. It sucks. It doesn't suck, it's just not creative at all. And both of the Demon Hunter lists are like, they're not the same, but they're very similar. In terms of like, I mean, Demon Hunter doesn't have a lot of cards to kind of switch around with, but a lot of their class cards are just really good. So you kind of just run those. And then Gavin threw in Zephyrs here and there. He threw in some other like neutral cards like the Blood Mage Thalnos and some Novice Engineers, where Lnguagehackr's Demon Hunter kind of was just running almost like no Blazing Battle Mage for some reason. I don't understand that one all too well. I mean, it's a good on curve, but it's not a good card. And I mean, there are better cards, so maybe it's this some sort of like tempo Demon Hunter thing that didn't work out too well. Regardless, they both did pretty well for themselves and ended up in the top of the standings, our current standings for 2020 season. Gavin is at first place, tied with bloodyface for, I mean, these ties are denoted by like different tiebreakers. So I'm sure Gavin has like a couple of extra like wins in the set that determines that why he's first place. But Gavin is currently in first place. Bloodyface in second place. He won last week. Lnguagehackr in third. Empanizado in fourth. And Eddie in fifth. So those are our top 5. And then rounding out our top 10, we have justsaiyan, Frozen, PNC, Zalae, and Muzzy. And we got a lot of really strong players just in our Grandmaster season right now anyway. So like, actually watching these games is going to be really crazy, especially now that the meta is just insane apparently, and there's a bunch of crazy decks running around and people are hitting legend with no cards whatsoever. So it's a good time to play Hearthstone right now, and you know what, maybe one of these days we'll actually do some videos on it, but for right now we gotta move on. We got more news to talk about. Let's move on to Hearthstone. Sorry, we're moving on to Magic. We're a professional podcast. Don't listen to that guy. Listen to me. Moving on to Magic.
News team, assemble! I understand you are in need of support.
Good news. I've arrived.
Okay, and I didn't pull up a picture of the first thing we're talking about because I'm good at this, but Godzilla Secret Lair. My caps lock is on. Thank you, Lily. Alright, so the first thing we're talking about, new Secret Lair drop. Godzilla themed basic lands. They're also in Japanese. And they're cool. They are cool. They're very cool. They're also $30. They're also foil, I think. They all come in foil. Each of them kind of depicts Godzilla and one of the other kaijus. Sort of. Like, I don't see the one in the green one. In the forest, I don't see another kaiju. And in the blue one, I'm assuming the kaiju's like in the water or something. I don't really see it that time. But like, they're really cool. I'm glad that this exists. But it's $30 for 5 basics. Like, they couldn't even do, like, why couldn't they do $30 for like a playset of non-foil one of these? And then if you wanted all of them, then you can pay like $150, right? Or like 140 or 120 to get like a set of 5, so that you have a playset of all 5 of these Godzilla lands. I'm going to be right back. We got to check on the babies real quick. And we're back. All right, and I smacked the microphone. Good going, Wolfie. So yeah, the lands are cool. I like the lands, but they're $30 for 5 foil ones, and it's weird seeing cards strictly made for collectors. Like, these cards are not supposed to be played ever, and if they were, why would you put like one of these in your deck and have the rest be different? It's weird, right? So a lot of people are complaining about this, especially since the foil like quality of the last couple of Secret Lairs has been really bad, especially the women's independent, like, women International Women's Day Secret Lair drop. There's a bunch of people on Twitter like Pleasant Kenobi, and I think Talarian Community College, the professor on Twitter, posting pictures of their drops that they got. Some of them, like, as soon as they opened up the box, they were bent and curved, and some of them, like, they went straight into a sleeve and it wasn't a top loader, so they got curved that way because it wasn't an incredibly hard plastic sleeve. It was just a normal card sleeve for cards that you put in. So yeah, a lot of people aren't digging this one. Don't know what else to say. I mean, if you don't dig it, don't buy it. Well, some people are gonna buy it regardless because they're gonna buy every single thing, but I would recommend not buying this one for sure. And all right, moving on. Mark Rosewater had a couple of articles on Magic the Gathering's blog thingy, talking about kind of like design stories and what they were going through while designing a lot of cards in the set, certain cycles, why they decided Narset, how they talked about Luca and like what he was going to have. It's really cool. Mark Rosewater does this for all the sets. Whenever they come out with new cards, he kind of does these sort of posts on like the background of why they did certain things. He also talks about it on his podcast, Driving to Work with Mark Rosewater. Check it out. It's not the best audio quality podcast. That's why I don't listen to it anymore, but it is interesting. I would be, maybe if they could transcode it into articles and do it that way, and then I could read it instead of want to stab my ear holes out every time for 30 minutes. But yeah, moving on. Sunsetting Planeswalker points. Blue Kitty brought this up. It's crazy, but it's happening. If you guys don't or haven't played Magic in like real life, like Magic events at your local game store or a Grand Prix, Magic Fest, what have you, then you won't really know what this is, and it's not really going to affect you. But Planeswalker points are what you get when you go do an event at a local game store or at a big event thing. You have to sign up with a DCI number. This DCI number kind of just keeps track of you. That's like kind of like your username to gather all of this stuff. It keeps track of which rounds you have, what you went in those rounds and like what your score was at the end of the tournament, and based on that you get awarded Planeswalker points. You can redeem these Planeswalker points for buys in GPs or Magic Fest, like big tournaments, or you can also use them to get like prizes and rewards. And they also kind of indicate who can become a pro, kind of, sort of. And they stopped doing that last year when they switched everything around. You can listen to, I think, our first podcast. We talk about all of these, like how to become a pro in Magic in 2019. And this was one of the things that they phased out, was the Planeswalker point system. They still had it around for Grand Prix and Magic Fest, so there was still a reason to have it. But now they are sunsetting it, which means they're getting rid of it. On May 27th, 2020, they will be sunsetting Planeswalker points and removing access to the Planeswalker points website. Now, this is a transitionary period. Stores are going to be upgraded to a thing called Wizards Event Link, which is said to be a lot easier for them to host and run tournaments. Instead of a DCI number, all of the players are going to have a Wizards account. So if you have a Magic Arena account, that is a Wizards account. And Wizards accounts connect you with your Magic the Gathering companion app that's going to be coming out soon, or it is out now, and that is going to be like the new portal, so that way you have like this one-stop shop for everything concerning Magic events. Now, this Wizards account should also later on down the line connect to like all the other games that Wizards is in charge of, like Mana Strike, the mobile game, and stuff like that. So it'd be cool if they integrate something like that. She's in watching Blue's Clues with Gabe. She like ran off and climbed in his bed, and he was like, ah, and I was like, you climb into his bed? And she was like, yeah.
Tonkies.
What'd you do?
Peed on the bath mat.
You peed on the right now?
I don't know when she did it.
I let you out.
Still wet.
You were outside.
Mm-hmm.
Gross. Go away. I don't want to talk to you. I don't talk about Magic news.
But I'm Tonkies.
I don't care if you're donkeys. You can't pee on the bath mat and stuff.
Oh, parents.
No.
I said I'm sorry.
I'm not. Nope. Nope. You suck. They did say that certain events like Magic Fest that are being run by third parties like Channel Fireball or any Star City Games events are still going to be able to use DCI numbers through 2021. So don't just automatically throw your card away, because if you go to one of those events, they will still be run. They won't get you any Planeswalker points, but you'll still need your DCI number so they can keep track of you. It's just the Planeswalker point system and the portal are going to be shut down at the end of the month. And the rest of the article just says how they're really sorry about that, and a lot of people have been with the system for a long time, and that this is just a new innovative step that they're going to have to take. Growing pains, stuff like that. Sucks. I remember getting my first DCI number. It wasn't that significant. I didn't do much with it, but it was nice to have something like that. But you know what? We got to move on. Actually, we're gonna do. Oh, I don't have it. I don't have a thing on here, but Flash got banned in Commander while we were gone, in the week that we were gone, and I'm not talking about the mechanic Flash, which I swear every single Twitter post and article that I read when it happened, and every video was like made it clickbaity enough to think that they banned the keyword Flash in Commander, because they banned Lutri the Otter in Commander because he had Flash. So they're like, yeah, it's just not fair to have an extra card that you can play at any time because of Flash. This is literally why they banned him. And I think it's like, whatever. Like, I don't think it's that big a deal, especially if you're thinking of it that way. Oh no, he has an extra 3/2 with Flash in a game that it's a 4-player game. So you gotta deal with a lot of other stuff. If someone's being super aggressive early on in the game, are you gonna block with just a 3/2 with that had Flash, and then your 3/2 is probably gonna die? Like, that doesn't make any sense. having the duplicate effect where you can copy a spell, that's like, okay, that's like a combo ability, but that's also not going to happen anytime soon. So why does it matter if it was a free card when it's already been like 14 turns or something because you needed to get your combo together? Like, yeah, it's a piece of your combo that you start out with, but you still need to get the rest of the combo in a 99 card deck. So I don't agree with that decision, but that's what people made it out to be. But in reality, they banned the card flash, which was enabling a lot of overpowered combos and cheating out of very strong cards. Usually this was used in competitive EDH, CDDH, and not in casual EDH, but the commander advisory board and the other guys that make the rules kind of decided that, you know what, it's enough is enough. A lot of competitive people have been complaining about this for a long time because it enables just insane, like crazy combos and OTK, so we're just going to ban it, and people are just going to have to be happy with it. And a lot of people liked the decision once they found out that it was the card flash and not the keyword flash. So yeah, that settles up that confusion. Moving on. I got a Gavin Verhey thing here that I thought I did. Yeah, okay. If you guys don't know who Gavin Verhey is, he is a senior magic designer and writer at Wizards of the Coast, and he's been starting to do these what are they called? Good Morning Magic with Gavin Verhey. He'll post them on YouTube. It's basically just like an official Q&A video that he's been doing since he's been in quarantine, which is kind of fun. If you go on his Twitter, he'll start taking like polls for different topics and different questions he can answer, stuff like that. So it's actually pretty cool. Here's one of them right now. It's about 5 minutes long. You guys can watch it on your own time. I haven't watched it yet, but I know it's been getting a lot of positive feedback, so that's nice that some of the top brass at Wizards is kind of like, hey, you know what, people, it'd be nice to give them just some fun stuff to do right now. Speaking of that, WOTC during COVID-19 is what we're going to talk about right now. So Wizards of the Coast gave away a bunch of free stuff to librarians and educators. To be fair, it's a lot of digital stuff, so they didn't really have to do anything. So they're going to distribute 2,000 digital kits to schools and libraries in the US and Canada. It's in an effort to provide them additional resources to engage their communities with Dungeons & Dragons and Magic the Gathering virtual play options. I'm assuming this would be like, hey, if you download Magic Arena, here's a couple of codes to get you guys started, or here's a couple, like a month free of D&D Beyond. I think D&D Beyond is a paid service, or it just has everything. I'm not sure, but yeah, so they set them up with these kind of kits so that they can get kids and other people in the community kind of things to do during quarantine is the way I'm gonna put it. Things stay at home, play at home, so that they can do stuff. Free content released on a daily basis at 5 p.m. as well as tips and tricks for families and children to master remote play. Even more content is available on the DM's Guide, a PDF web store containing thousands of D&D adventures and supplements. I'm sure they got some codes for that too, so it's pretty cool. I'm glad that they're doing something, especially when we talk about the next story. But yeah, it's nice. It's a nice thing that they're doing. It's nice to have nice things right now. And now we're going to the little sad bit of COVID-19. TCGPlayer warehouses. I think there's only one. TCGPlayer has had major issues regarding the healthcare insurance of their employees. Some employees have claimed that their insurance costs have doubled in recent months. For this, TCGPlayer's workers have unionized, and in that process, they got support from Bernie Sanders, the number one dad of the country. Bernie Sanders put out a tweet: "I support the person and TCGPlayer warehouse workers work to organize a union. Now more than ever, workers need a union contract to protect their wages, benefits, and safety on the job." This was insane. So insane that someone in our Magic community made a Rhystic study altar, digital altar of Bernie Sanders, which is hilarious. I love it. It's so cool. It's so great that they were able to get the union running, and that I don't think there was any pushback from Wizards in particular. I'm sure TCGPlayer wasn't super fond of the idea, but you know what? If they were considered to be essential workers, then they need protections and stuff. Like, even I'm still working right now. My insurance is taking like $80 every week. So that's what $320 a month. And when I go, last time we didn't even go for a COVID reason, but we had to go, and we still had to pay like a $15 copay. It sucks. But you know what? I'm glad that we have the insurance, and I'm glad my employer is providing it for me, so I don't have to form a union. But if that was the case, I'm glad Bernie Sanders is in our corner, supporting the TCGPlayer. I don't think Bernie Sanders has ever played a card game in his life. He'd probably think that it's too similar to capitalism, and be like, why doesn't everyone just have all the cards? Draw as many as you want. But you know what? It was nice. And that's it for our Magic the Gathering section. So we're gonna move on to Legends of Runeterra.
Because I'm an adult, and when I attend a conversation, I bring my own memes from home.
Use your bolts of lightning!
What? My hair is on fire? I know.
Okay, Legends of Runeterra. The meat and the potatoes of our episode today. Guess what? More stuff came out, because they're going live in like a week, or at the end of the week. I can't even remember anymore. So if you go on their site, they officially revealed Bilgewater as the new territory for the expansion for the game. Bilgewater, home of some of your favorite and dastardly folks like Misfortune. Misfortune got announced. 3 mana, 3/3. When allies attack, deal 1 to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. Level up when I've seen you attack 4 times. Her leveled up form, Misfortune, has Overwhelm. 3 mana, 4/4. When allies attack, deal 1 3 times to battling enemies and the enemy nexus. Important distinction, because that means it deals 1 3 different instances. So if there's an enemy if the enemy has toughness, this is going to do nothing, because it's going to block 1 every single time, so it's just not going to do anything. But if it has like a thing that it does a thing every time it gets damaged, then that'll trigger 3 times, stuff like that. So very important distinction. I think they did that as a not preventative, but like kind of like a balance thing. Like, it'd be way more broken if Misfortune dealt 3 damage to all things when allies attack. But now this way, there's also like, I know there's not a card that has like on-hit abilities that gives a creature on-hit abilities, but if there was, then this would be very good for them. Also, Overwhelm would work way better if this dealt 3 damage once instead of dealing 1 3 times. But you know what? It's good. It's all good. A couple of cards. Bullet Time, 0 mana skill, deal 1 3 times to battling enemies. Okay, so her ability. I think that's what that is. And then Double Up, 6 mana, fast spell, deal 2 to an enemy unit. If this kills it, deal 4 to the enemy nexus. Wow, that's nice. It's a little expensive, but you know what? It's okay. And then there's little videos. You guys can watch the videos later if you want. Lots of cool artwork. I love the artwork for the set. Lots of small cards in our next hero, Twisted Fate. Number 1, Twisted Fate. I don't have my wallet over here, but like back in the day, let me drop some knowledge on you guys. Back in the day, around season 3 of League of Legends, they had a partnership with MasterCard, okay? And they were like, man, we're so hot. We're hot stuff. We're Riot Games, and everyone loves our game. Let's partner up with MasterCard and tell people that if they spend money using their MasterCard, we'll give them Riot points. And I was like, yes, please. very much, and I got the Twisted Fate MasterCard, and I have it in my wallet still. It's not active, and they stopped giving me Riot points after a year. So I stopped using it, and I canceled it, but I kept the card. Blue Kitty got the Teemo MasterCard. They're adorable. I wish I could still use them, but I can't. But it's cool. Anyway, Twisted Fate, 4 mana, 2/2. Quick attack, nice. Whenever you play him, you play a Destiny card. We'll go over that in a bit. And level up when I've seen you draw 8+ cards. And then his leveled up version, oh, so good. 4 mana, quick attack, 3/3. The first 3 times I see you play a card each round, I play a Destiny card. Now the Destiny cards, let's go over that. That's not one of them. Here they are. Okay, read them and weep. Read them and weep. Blue card. These are non-collectible cards. Blue card, refill 1 spell mana, draw card. Red card, deal 1 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus. And gold card, yellow card, deal 2 and stun the strongest enemy. So whenever you play Twisted Fate, he will play one of these 3 Destiny cards at random. And then the second ability, when he's leveled up, that the first 3 times I see you play a card each round, I play Destiny card. He will play, the order of which these are played, I think, is also random. In League, it's not random, so I would actually be kind of surprised if it is random, but who knows? No one knows right now. And then his spell, pick a card, 3 mana burst spell, pick a card. Shuffle a card from hand into your deck and draw 3 fleeting at next round start. Huh, interesting. Okay, so it helps you get the 8 draw plus thing, but those cards will become fleeting next turn, because you spent mana this turn playing this. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And just throwing it out there, Twisted Fate, one of the coolest champions in the history of League of Legends. So cool. Best jungler, NA. Moving on, who we got next? Gangplank. Gangplank. Her. I fight for my friends. When a 5 mana 5/5 with Overwhelm, when I'm summoned, summon a powder keg. Level up when you've damaged an enemy nexus in 5 rounds this game. He levels up into Gangplank. 5 mana 6/6 with Overwhelm. When I'm summoned and round start, summon a powder keg. Attack, deal 1 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus. Now the powder keg is weird. Okay? It can't attack, it can't block, and it's vulnerable, which means people can target it when they attack. Powder kegs stack. All your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. Destroy me when your spell or skill damages enemies. So then the whole thing is that this will make your spells and skill deal one extra damage, but if you damage the enemy, then you lose the powder keg. It like blows up. So the point is that you kind of have to double them up somehow.
Also, you might have to move this over. Your room is so hot, and it's blocking the vent.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay. Well, that's why I didn't want to put it there. Well, like, I had it out, but then Gabe keeps pushing it over.
Well, I checked
So
your
just
room
move
last
it.
night, and oh my god, it's so hot in here.
Burp.
And it was like 6 o'clock, and it was fucking like a sauna. in
Yeah.
here.
We're gonna get curtains and stuff too.
I know, that's next
But that's
week.
why I don't want to put Gabe in here.
Oh no, that's why I'm
Yeah.
okay with you in here, because you're not in here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If Gabe was sleeping in here, I'd have to have the fucking. He'd have to sleep.
Jason
with the
said
thing.
Wednesday is gonna get 90 degrees, and I was like, ugh.
I'm
getting hot.
using the AC this year. I don't
That's
give a
fine.
fuck.
Yeah, whatever. I'll pay for it. I'm working. I'll pay for it. Did you order food?
Huh? Yeah, I ordered.
Nice.
We have
Getting food.
cash.
Hear that? I'm getting food.
What day do you want to do the weeds? We need a spray.
I don't know. I can spray after this. Maybe.
You don't have to spray after this. I mean,
Okay. Got 2 cards left. Nautilus. This card is sick. I'm telling you guys right now. The only way that you're gonna be able to deal with Nautilus is with that like 6 mana kill spell from somebody, or deal with Nautilus ASAP, because he is incredible. When I level up 7 mana 0/12 Nautilus with toughness and fearsome, when I level up, copy tossed allies that cost 4+ into your deck. Level up when you are deep. Okay. Lots to unpack here. Tossed. So we looked up tossed last episode. Toss is a new keyword. It means that you take the bottom cards of your deck and you exile them. You just toss them. You chuck them. You get rid of them. So when he levels up, any ally that costs 4 or more that you tossed is going to get a copy of it is going to get put back into your deck. Now, deep. Another new keyword. Deep is like if I was going to say it in terms of Magic, it's kind of like the Ixalan mechanic when you have 10 or plus cards and you have the city's blessing. Deep happens when you have 15 or less cards in your deck. When you're down to half of your deck, you are deep. You're deep in the deck, right? So tossing and being deep kind of intermingle together, right? So that's how that works. So once you're deep, 15 cards into the deck, you level up, and when you level up, your tossed allies that cost 4 plus get copied back into your deck, and Nautilus himself is a monster. Then he levels up. He's already a monster. Then he levels up into Nautilus. 7 mana, 13/13 with toughness and fearsome. Sea monster allies cost 4 less. So multiple things to unpack here. 1, he's huge, he's ripped, he's giant, he's a freaking monster, and he's tough, and he's scary. And sea monsters are going to be a thing. Enough of a thing that they have support in the champion. So it'll be a new keyword or like type sea monster, and they cost 4 less. So that one would be free. This 7/5 would be 2 mana, 3 mana, whatever. It's insane. So big. Such a big boy. Nautilus. What else? Riptide is his spell, I think. 4 mana fast spell. Stun an enemy, shuffle that unit into the enemy's deck if there's an ally Nautilus. And then we have Jettison, which is a 1 mana burst spell that tosses 4. That's a new spell. So yeah, Riptide sounds amazing. And then I think we got one more. There's a couple of other cards that got thrown out, and like again with like you can already see combos with Nautilus. He's such a powerhouse. He's 7 mana, but he's like such a big dude. But you need to be deep so that if you use the Shadow Isles cards that toss things like Maokai, boom, you have an instant combo with 2 cards. Or you can just use a bunch of Freljord cards and buff him up, and you don't even have to level him up. He's just a giant, tough, fearsome monster. Last card.
We had a Roku on our Amazon. I'm like done.
Okay, with the Fire Stick. Fire Stick sucks. You heard it here first, folks. Roku, where it's at. Okay, almost done. Fizz. Fizz, adorable Fizz. 1 mana, 2/1. When you cast a spell, give me elusive and stop all enemy spells targeting me. And then you level up when you've cast 6+ spells this game. This is just a better version of Ezreal, alright? Better version of Ezreal. Leveled up Fizz. Whoop. When you cast a spell, give me elusive and stop all enemy spells targeting me. Nexus Strike, create a Chum the Waters. Chum the Waters over here. 4 mana slow spell, grant an enemy vulnerable, and summon Longtooth. Longtooth, so many token cards that don't exist. Longtooth is a 4 mana 5/1 overwhelm shark. And then Fizz's spell is a 4 mana fast spell, playful trickster, remove an attacking ally from combat to rally. Huh. Okay. So it's Fizz, just Fizz, just the one card comes with playing him. You can level him up, get the Chum the Waters, get the Longtooth, get the Playful Trickster. Oh my god, he's like so good. Oh my goodness. All of these new champions are like blowing the old champions out of the water. Pun intended. And then the last card we're going to talk about, Lee Sin, the Blind Monk. 6 mana, 3/6. When you cast a spell, give me Challenger this round. If you cast another, give me Barrier. And then level up when you've cast 7+ spells this game. He's also Ionian, by the way. 6 mana, Lee Sin, leveled up. When you cast a spell, give me Challenger this round. If you cast another, give me Barrier. 1 Dragon's Rage enemies that I Dragon's Rage enemies that I challenge. Okay, that is worded way bad. Dragon's Rage, 7 mana slow spell. An ally strikes an enemy and their nexus. If the enemy survives, recall it. Okay, cool. Let's unpack that. So Lee Sin, first of all, like pretty well statted card, 6 mana 3/6, healthier than he is buff. If he casts a spell, he gets Challenger, so he can pull a guy into him. If he casts another one, he gets Barrier, so he doesn't get hurt. If you cast 7 spells in the game, so this can happen late game. You don't need to get this like earlier, or you know what? By 6, you might already have done his level up thing. When you cast one, Challenger, and you cast another one, you give him Barrier like normal, and then any enemy that he challenges gets Dragon Raged first. Which means, what does that mean? So that means he challenges someone, then they get this at them. An ally strikes an enemy and their nexus. So then our Lee Sin would hit the enemy for 4, and then also hit the nexus for 4. And then if the enemy survives, it gets recalled. So Lee Sin's not going to attack again. Only if he kills the enemy minion. So if he kills the enemy, then he would attack again, I think, because the enemy's not there anymore. I'm not entirely sure about that one, because you can like set a minion to block, and then once the minion, if the minion dies before damage, or if you sack the minion, then the enemy is still blocked. I think that's how it would work. Like, he would not attack again, but there have been cases where it hasn't worked. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, so that's going to need some play testing for sure. I don't think it kind of goes over one scenario in the video, and it's not the one that I'm talking about. Oh, it might be. Let's see. Finish them off with the thing. Yeah, that happens. He gets recalled. Or he died because he's buff. Okay, that's true. Because you just put buff spells on Lee Sin, and then he's going to kick them all in the butt. And lastly, these aren't cards we're talking about. We're almost done. These aren't cards, but they did showcases for each of the regions. And the Ionian showcase had Shen and Akali in it. And those aren't cards in the game yet. I think Shen is. I'm not entirely sure. I think Shen is in the game. Right? Oh, now I have to look this up because I can't remember. Legends of Runeterra Shen. I don't know why my caps... Yeah, Shen is... I knew Shen was in the game. I've seen him before. I don't own him, but Akali is not in the game. And Akali shows up in the video, so we're probably going to get an Akali card as one of our, what was it, like 14 new champions or 13 new champions? But yeah, that's something to look at now. You heard it here first, you guys. We got Akali coming up. And yeah, all of these new heroes are just way better than our old ones. Fizz by himself is like Ezreal plus. Gangplank is like if you took... if you took Braum and Darius and kind of mashed them together and drowned them at the same time. Twisted Fate is just so cool. So cool. He doesn't even need to be good. He's just super cool. Gangplank is a weird combo thing. Lee Sin is just a powerhouse combo thing that you don't even need to do good combos with. Just play like a burst spell for one and you'd be fine. But oh man. Yeah, so those are our new cards. That is the end of our podcast. Sorry about that. I'd like to thank everybody. Let's do this real quick. Oh, that's a little loud. You know what? That's okay. I'll lower this. I'm going to do all the professional podcasting stuff right now. Yeah, so just to remind everybody to go onto iTunes and rate and share the podcast, do all that stuff, leave a comment, do all the stuff. If you leave a comment, I might shout it out. Who knows? You can hit me up on Twitter at Wolfie. Twitch.tv/Wolfie is where we stream the podcast live. If you want to catch us live and try to trip me up in the chat, you are free to do so. And I probably won't cut it out because I don't have enough time. What else? Shout out to Mythic Legendaries podcast. They follow the Twitch channel, and I was listening to their podcast, and it was not too bad. It was pretty good, and I learned about the Ox thing and stuff like that. So, kind of sharing stuff around with them. Not really. I'm kind of just listening to their podcast and letting you know about it. So that's cool. You can go ahead and check them out. Check out all of our socials. We'll be trying more to like stream more in general, like a little bit, like kind of like this short stream. We'll do like a daily stream, like with me just like doing my daily quest for all the different games that we play, and then maybe doing some art. We got the art streams, trying to do the art streams up again. I have to like just not sleep enough so that I can do the art streams, but I got my tablet in. If you guys check out the Instagram, which is _Wolfie on Instagram, that's where we post most of the art stuff. But I did post a new one for the comic that I'm working on. So that being said, thank you guys so much. May your draws be legendary and your brews be spicy. Thank you so much. Goodbye.